Morning, everyone. Miss Hall here with lesson 23. Today's lesson should be pretty quick because it's so closely related to yesterday's lesson. So if you look at our objective, we're still comparing the size of products to the size of the factors. So just like yesterday, we're going to be looking at the number that we start with. And after we multiply, is the product greater than what we started with or less than what we started with? The only real difference today is that instead of dealing with fraction forms, we're dealing with decimal forms. So let's start by looking at your problem set. Number 1, you have a box that has 3 numbers in it. So we have 1 and 21 thousandths. We have 989 thousandths, and then we have 1. So we're going to use these 3 numbers to fill in these number sentences. So the first one I have here is 3 4/10 times something is equal to 3 4/10. So I'm looking for something to put here that will not change the value. It will remain exactly the same. And we know from our last few lessons, we've talked about this concept that when we multiply by 1, the value doesn't change. So we're going to insert the 1 into that first number sentence. And I can cross it right out so that I don't use it again. So now I'm left with 2 numbers. I have 1 and 21 thousandths, and then I have 989 thousandths. So if I'm just looking at these 2 numbers, I can see that one of them is greater than 1, and one of them is less than 1. So if you think about yesterday's lesson when we were doing fractions, if we multiplied by something that was greater than 1, if it had a higher numerator than the denominator, the value of the factor would increase after we multiplied. If we have something smaller than 1, the value decreases. So if I multiply by this number, the product is going to be greater than the factor. If I multiply by this number, the product is going to be less than the factor. So let's look at this number sentence we have right here. Something times 21 hundredths is greater than 21 hundredths. So I want this part to be more than 21 hundredths. So do I want to use the number that's more than 1 or less than 1? Right, I want to use the bigger number. So 1 and 21 thousandths. Perfect. Now my last one, I only have one option, but I want to check and make sure I understand why it works and make sure that that actually is the correct answer. So I have 8 400ths times something is less than 8 400ths. So if I multiply by this, is this going to be less than what I started with? Yeah, because this is less than 1. So that 989 thousandths. Okay, perfect. I'm going to flip my board around and we're going to go to the next section. You see you have a chart. That's TV magic. You have a chart and you have one side marked that the product will be less than the boxed number. And the other side says the product is going to be greater than the boxed number. Oops. So down below, we have some expressions. One of the numbers is in a box. So that's the number we're looking at. Is this number going to end up will the product be more than this number or less than this number? So whichever one is going to be true, we will move that expression into that side of the chart. So the first one, 13 and 89 hundredths times 1 and 4 thousandths. Well, I have to look at this factor. 1 and 4 thousandths is more than 1 because I have 1 plus a little bit more. So what will that do? That will make the product more than this. So I'm going to write that over here on this side of the chart. And I'm done with that one. Now, if I look at my next one, I have 3/10 times 69 thousandths. I don't have a whole number here, so that's an easy way for me to tell that it's less than 1. I don't have one whole. If this is a 0, when we're dealing with decimals, if you have a 0 in the ones place, you automatically know that it's less than 1 whole. So 3/10 times 69 thousandths. Is the product going to be greater than 3/10 or less than 3/10? If this is less than 1 whole, this is going to get smaller. So this is going to go over here. Even though we're multiplying by a fraction that's less than 1. So the product is going to be less than that. Let's take a look at this one right here. 602 times 489 thousandths. So if I look at 489 thousandths, I can see there's no whole number there. That's a 0. So that's a clue right away that I have less than 1 whole. If I'm multiplying by less than a whole, the product is going to be smaller than what we started with. So 602 times 489 thousandths is going to end up being less than 602. So that's going to go over here. And I noticed that in this side where the products are less than the boxed number, both of these have a 0 in the ones place because we don't have any holes. Okay, let's do one more together and then you guys will do the rest on your own. We have 72 hundredths times 1 and 24 hundredths. So the difference here is that I have 1 and 24 hundredths. So that's 1 and a little bit more that I'm multiplying by. So if I'm multiplying by more than 1, what's going to happen to this number? Is the product going to be more or less? Think about it. I'm multiplying by something more than 1. Good. The product is going to be more than that. So this one will go over here. So again, you can see a trend in this side. Both of these factors have a 1 in the ones place, or we could have things over here that have a 2 or a 3 or a 100. As long as we're multiplying by something that's more than 1, the product is going to be greater than the original factor. Okay, so great job. We're going to stop there. I'd like you guys on your own to finish the chart. There are 2 more expressions for you to sort, and then hop on and do your Google exit ticket. I know I'm being very brief today, so if you feel like you need some more help, reach out to your teacher, send a text, send an email, send a message, however you want. You guys are doing a great job. Do that exit ticket, mark it as complete, and I will talk to you later. See you tomorrow. Bye.